Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us at San Diego Comic-Con. We're really excited to share with you the brand new deluxe edition of Rick and Morty versus Dungeons and Dragons. I'm your moderator, Satine Phoenix, and we have about an hour to get through some wacky questions and a little surprise for you. So my panelists, please introduce yourselves.
My name's Jim Zub. I'm the co-writer of Rick and Morty versus Dungeons and Dragons and the solo writer of Rick and Morty versus D&D 2, and one of the writers of Dungeons and Dragons versus Rick and Morty, the starter set D&D adventure.
I'm Troy Little, and I'm the guy who draws all the stuff this guy writes for Rick and Morty versus Dungeons and Dragons. I did both the original series with Patrick Rothfuss and Jim, and the follow-up Painscape and the artwork for the D&D game as well.
I'm Fred Van Lente, and I had nothing to do with any of this. I am a writer of comics. Most salient to this, I just did the Pathfinder Phone-Biz one-shot for Paizo and Dynamite.
And Robert Meyers, senior editor at Oni Press. I get to look at all of Troy's amazing work first, and then read all of Jim's amazing scripts and make sure everything comes together just right. And I do have to point out that the art behind all of us, except for Jim, is the amazing Troy Little.
Actually, I do have Troy Little artwork put up on the wall, and you can't quite tell. But that's actually that's right, a Troy Little original from D&D Rick and Morty. So yeah, brilliant. Robert in some ways has the hardest job of all, because he has to try and channel all the madness down onto the page and make sure that it functions by the end.
Well, we're really excited for you guys all to be here. And if you like the art that you see, go to onipress.com. We have the deluxe edition. It's going on sale August 4th at game stores, comic shops, and Amazon. So keep your eyes peeled for that. And yeah, let's talk about how this came to be in the first place.
It was a really weird kind of a ride. So I've been doing the official Dungeons and Dragons comic since 5th edition launched. And so I built up a really good relationship with both IDW and Wizards of the Coast. And from what I've heard, the legend is that a group of editors from IDW and Oni Press went out for dinner and maybe libations. And the conversation sort of struck up, well, what kind of fun things could we jam together? What if we did a crossover between properties that we individually publish and what may have you? And someone as a joke, I think, said Rick and Morty versus Dungeons and Dragons, and then everyone laughed. And then suddenly the idea kind of wormed its way into reality. Like they were like, actually, that might be cool. That might be fascinating. And so I was approached by Sarah Gatos, who at the time was an editor at IDW. And she came to me and basically said, hey, this kind of thing came up over conversation last night. Is this something you might be interested in being involved with? And I said, yes. And also told her it will never happen. And the reason why I said was because, a company like Adult Swim, their newest, hottest show in Rick and Morty, and Wizards of the Coast and Hasbro are not going to let their crown jewels just be jangled around that way. It's going to be a crazy tug of war. It won't be possible. But yes, of course, I'm interested. Wouldn't that be funny? Ha, ha, ha. And then it took almost a year to pull it all together. So in that time, the gang at Oni, who were publishing the Rick and Morty comics, got in touch with Troy, and they got in touch with amazing fantasy author Pat Rothfuss and asked him if he would be interested. And then they put me in touch with them, and Pat sent me like a manifesto of what he felt like this series should be and how it could possibly function. And as soon as I read that, I was like, this is going to be amazing and kind of a mental disaster, because we're going to be doing so much crazy stuff and they'll never let us get away with it. And at every stage of this thing, I think that has been, kind of the result. When I send Troy stuff, I'm like, Troy will hate me. When I show other people or when they read it, there's no way we're going to get away with this. And that's kind of the joy that has run the series. When did they first pull you into the mix, Troy?
I'm not even sure where that fell into the whole plan of attack for me. There was a few other projects that was supposed to be working on, like doing the adaptation of Breakfast of Champions, and that fell through, which would have been really cool because I love that book.
Would be really cool.
So I think I was kind of waffling around. I was doing some stuff with Kevin Eastman, And this came out of nowhere, like just I think an email, must have been from Sarah. It feels like my memory's a bit hazy on it, asking if I'd be interested. And at the time I hadn't watched Rick and Morty, and it'd probably been like years since I played Dungeons and Dragons. So for me, it was going way back into like the 80s, like Redbox, D&D, thinking like, I remember playing that a lot and it was a lot of fun. I should watch some Rick and Morty first off, see what I think of the show, and then go pick up the new like 5e and play with my kids, see like how it works. And so I did that. I was about 3 episodes into Rick and Morty, and I was just like, oh, I get it now. Like this is really funny. I kind of get this subversive humor to it. And reading all the how to play D&D and getting all my dice back, and playing with the kids, and I was like, this is a lot of fun. Like I remember like how fun it was when I was a kid, using your imagination and making characters, and it made perfect sense all of a sudden why Rick and Morty and Dungeons and Dragons would be like the perfect thing to like mash together. It just makes sense that it should happen. So I felt really lucky all of a sudden, like, holy cow, how did this drop in my lap? I get to work on these 2 very, very cool projects and do something completely insane. I've been wanting to work with Jim for a while, so that was just like icing on the cake.
Well, and then I think what astonished me about working on it, like I said, was Pat and I would throw the most insane stuff at you. And Troy is genuinely one of the best cartoonists around, like one of the best in modern comics. That guy, he can adapt just about anything. His storytelling's immaculate. And the physical humor that's required, in the cartoon, it's amazingly funny because you can animate a lot of these things and you can show them, but you have to infer so much of that in the panels, the movement and the violence and all these kinds of things. And your ability to deliver on that. I also love the way you incorporate the sound effects right into the artwork a lot of times to amp it up at every stage. And, we just had so much fun putting it together, doing the little cameos. Satine actually shows up as the dungeon master in one of the panels as we show sort of the spirit of the god of the dungeon masters appears before Rick and heckles him and messes with him and does all kinds of stuff like that.
That was so cool. Thank you so much. It was an honor to be Rick and Mortified.
Rick and Mortified is a good term for it. I like
Mortified.
I like that.
But for me, it's the same kind of thing that Troy was saying. I think it taps into a lot of your good memories in your youth. Like Fred, when did you start playing D&D?
I had the basic red box at 10, so that must have
Nice.
been 8, so that must have been 1980.
Wow,
I think.
Nice.
So probably the year it came out.
Yeah.
And I've been a RPGer ever since. I think I stopped for like a decade when I became a professional writer because it seemed too much like work. but over the last 10 years, I've gotten completely back into it.
Nice.
Now I have a monthly group and a weekly group.
It is amazing how huge it is right now. It's kind of mind-blowing when I think about it. I mean, I don't have to tell Satine that. She's like on the cutting edge of
literally all I do. Actually, I have a question. So Dungeons and Dragons is fantasy. It's really hardcore fantasy. Dragons, elves, dwarves. Rick and Morty's super sci-fi. What was it like to make a story and both write it where it makes sense, both universes, which are totally different, make sense visually and through writing?
So for me, and when Pat and I were talking about it, the great thing about Sword and Sorcery is that it's not Rick's bag and that it doesn't play to any of his strengths, and he can't just logic his way out of it, and he can't just invent his way out of it. And so, for example, pretty early in the story, the dungeon master essentially strips him of all his like cybernetics and all his little toys, and that allowed us to put him, Rick, on his back foot, that he was in this defensive posture and not able to be everything he wants to be. He's always got to be in control. He's always got to have the advantage in every scenario. And here he was kind of trailing behind Jerry and being pulled, bit by bit through this just messed up, sort of story. And that was so much fun to be able to sort of put him in this defensive position. And then Troy, design wise, it was just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah, no, the neat thing for me too is the visual side of it. Doing a D&D Rick and Morty, it's always been the sci-fi designs, and they're very simple designs, but then all of a sudden I have to figure out, okay, well, one's a wizard, one's a dwarf, one's, you know, a halfling. So I have all this great weaponry and costumes and stuff I have to design over and over and over again for that fits different editions that he wrote, because he's very specific with his
we send him a
direction.
lot of reference. We drag the characters through 5 editions of D&D,
Yeah.
and I would send artwork from each edition. So it's not just an orc, it's an orc from 1st edition D&D, or this is kobolds from 3rd edition, or, you know, stuff like that. So that if you just read it all the way through, you can enjoy it. But if you actually know the stuff and you pick up those references, they're all correct, which is just that anal part of the whole process that I really enjoy in a ridiculous kind of way. Yeah.
It was a lot of fun.
I really think that like what you guys are doing is helping bring all the world into the Dungeons and Dragons world. So thank you. And it's also your fault.
Yes.
So.
Well, and so this was the thing, is that, you know, after we finished as the second miniseries was in development, the joke again kind of went around with Wizards of the Coast, like, oh man, you guys should make a game set. And I thought, well, there's just no way they're going to do this. Again, every time I think that, apparently that's just immediately means it's got to happen. So it did happen, and they pulled me into the mix to write part of this adventure. And so it was supposed to be, what would an adventure be if Rick was the dungeon master dragging you into these adventures? And I got paid to write essentially annotations to the rule book of him trashing Dungeons and Dragons in an official Dungeons and Dragons product, and then an adventure where he just sort of upturns the apple cart of expectations. And that's actually one of the other reasons why Fred and Robert are on this call, because what I wanted to do, instead of doing your typical panel where we just talk about the genesis of the series and look, isn't this a fun thing? And it's cool, go buy it. I mean, I do want you to buy it, but I thought it'd be fun. We could run a couple encounters from Dungeons and Dragons versus Rick and Morty and drag you all into the adventure, whether you like it or not.
That's our surprise. So before we jump in, don't forget to go to onipress.com for the Rick and Morty versus Dungeons and Dragons Deluxe Edition. IDW will also have their special edition version, and that's August 4th in game stores, comic shops, and on the internets, the Amazons, all of that. So I'm ready to play. Let's get to playing.
Sweet. So what I would ask that you do, if you could rename your little window to your character name, so that I've got that on my fingertips. I will be Dungeon Master Rick, and with deep apologies to Justin Roiland, as I will not be able to do the voice to the same degree that he does, but I will try and keep it as on target as possible.
I'm glad you chose to do this, because I can't hit that.
Oh,
right
just
now.
trash my voice, right? So the thing is with Dungeons and Dragons versus Rick and Morty is meant to be an introductory adventure, but it's obviously playing off a lot of tropes and foolish craziness. We won't have time to run even remotely close to the full thing, and these characters will almost certainly die momentarily, but that's kind of the joy. If you know your D&D, hopefully you will enjoy this little sneak peek at a piece of the Lost Dungeon of Rickedness, as we call it. And so we've got Jerry, we've got Summer, Morty, and you've got your character name on there. All right, so we'll just get right into the mix. All right, we're all here. We're gonna play a damn game, and we're gonna get through this together, and hopefully we'll still be a family at the end of all of it, but if not, that's fine too. So here's how it's going to go down.
Grandpa, I already hate this.
Yeah, I know, Summer. Look, here's how it works. It's really not that different from real life. I'm in charge of everything. I'll tell you what's happening and what your reality exists with, and then you can accept that or die. Because
this is why I voted for Uno.
Sure, Jerry. Okay. How
Jerry,
about we start with you? Why don't you tell me your character name and your race class combination here in the fantastic magical world of Dragons and Dungeons.
I am noted sage and wizard Keir Bravin. I'm clearly very intelligent and wise and full of good advice for his children. I mean, fellow party members.
Yeah, and that's why it's called a role-playing game, because you get to be anyone pays attention to you for even a moment. Okay, Summer, tell me your race class combination and character name.
I am Ari Strongbow. I am a fighter. I am a half elf, and I am a goddamn folk hero.
Okay, sure. It's beautiful. The power is flowing off you every moment. Morty, what is your problem? What is your damage?
I'm Keith Silverson, half orc rogue, chaotic good. So that's good, right?
Yeah, good is good. That's it's kind of how that works. Thanks.
Yeah, I'm ready to play now.
Yeah. Do you have your dice, Morty?
Yeah, I've got all my dice, Rick.
I'll tell you
I roll
which
for
one you
initiative?
use.
Do I
No,
roll for
not yet.
initiative?
No, you're not rolling for anything until I
right.
tell you. And when you do, you'll roll, and then I'll tell you if I care. All right, Beth, what is your problem?
I am Leanne Aramonthia, Wood Elf Cleric, neutral good. And
Okay. Look,
I figure my background as in actual being an actual doctor will help here.
Yes, yeah, because horses and fantasy horses are pretty much the same. Okay, so here's the thing. I'm not going to remember any of these names, and I don't want to read anything that's got that many vowels and consonants slammed together in such a punishing fashion. So Jerry, your dumb name is now, your character will be called Jerry. I feel that'll be easier for me and the rest of the world. Summer,
what does Jerry mean in Elvish, Rick? I just want to make sure I'm portraying the culture correctly.
It means shut up, or you will get hit in the face with a meteor swarm. Okay, Summer, your character name will be Summer.
Grandpa, that's
Morty,
stupid. I spent so much time on my name.
Yeah, that's great. Your inner name is whatever.
Fine.
Morty, your name will now be Morty, and
Morty.
Beth, no, just Morty. And then Beth,
okay.
you will also be known as your nickname is
Beth.
Very good. Pattern making.
Thanks, Dad.
Okay, you got it.
Creative.
So here's how it's going to go. The world of Dungeons and Dragons is a fantastic imaginative place, except it's my imagination, and you have to do what I say. And so I will describe what's happening, and then all of you will endure it. And you'll roll dice when I tell you. I'll care about the number when I tell you. And this is over when I have drank enough, and we are finished. Okay, so let's get going already. The name of the encounter is called Let's Get Going Already. I will read from the box text, and it says, you are adventurers, or a single adventurer, or a group. I don't care. Why are you here? No one cares. Don't tell me your backstory. We're going to kick ass, and we're going to get treasure. That is your new motivation. Please get ready to roll. In front of you is a dark staircase. It's mysterious, and the shadows beckon for you to enter. And by beckon, I mean go down the damn stairs. There's not a hell of a purpose, and we're playing a game. So what are you going to do? Who's the leader? What do you want to do? Morty, it's not you. Anyone else?
Well, I'm the leader of the family, so I feel like I should be leader of the party then.
Sure, Dad.
Truly the world of
works?
imagination. Yeah. Okay, Jerry, go for it. What do you want to do?
I think I'll send my children down first.
Wait, what?
Okay, which one? Which
Morty,
one do you love least?
Morty, you seem really into this whole thing. So
yeah,
how about
I've got
you
dark
lead
vision. I can go.
And
down
Summer,
there,
you're
Dad.
taller, so it'll be better if you're standing behind him.
I got
This
my
isn't a class
longbow.
photo, Jerry. It's just a party order. Okay, Morty. I know Morty, the character, is nervous and full of immature energy.
I got this, Rick.
I want you to roll a dexterity athletics roll.
Which
I know
dice?
that's not the
There's
attribute that normally goes with athletics.
this one or this one, Rick?
Oh my God, it's the 20-sided die.
Oh Jesus!
I know you've never counted past 10, but
It's a 19, Rick. Did I win?
did you add your bonuses to it
Oh, for what?
for athletics or dexterity?
Oh, it's only an
I know.
18 now.
That's right.
But that's pretty good, Rick.
Well, but you did get a negative one. Did I mention that it was at disadvantage? You should roll again.
Oh,
I did mention that. You missed it.
that takes me to 12 this time.
Far better. All right.
Mm.
So as your knees are jangling their way down the stairs, you realize that these stairs have not been built in an even fashion, or they have been eroded through years of adventure or death, and therefore you slip and fall, taking
I fell
2
walking
points of-
downstairs. This is
Yes,
the start of the
these
game,
are-
Rick.
Yes, these are dangerous stairs, Morty.
Oh, geez.
So you slip and you crash into a room. I will describe it to you. This room is dark and it smells like a pet store. There's wood chips and warm poop down here, and there's a bunch
Gross.
of flapping sounds from the roof that you can hear.
I didn't touch any of the poop, did I, Rick?
Actually, you went face first into the poop
Oh.
there, Morty. You're
Poop.
covered in the poop.
Uh,
You are,
Okay.
as they say, shit out of luck.
this
would you
game
like to-
sucks so
Good
far,
one,
Rick.
Grandpa.
What would you like to do, Morty?
I'll use my dark vision to look around.
Okay, so you turn on these head beams of dark vision, and you look up at the ceiling, and you see all these little glittering eyes, as there are a series of there are these creatures called sturges. I want you to imagine that they look kind of like a bat, but they've got a really long, like a proboscis, like a mosquito nose, and they're looking at you, and they are clearly hungry.
Can I go back up the stairs now?
No, you're too busy sitting in
Oh.
your own filth.
All right.
What would the rest of you like to do? Morty is making strange, nervous noises.
I hold my action to, if one of those creatures gets close to my brother, then I will shoot it with my longbow. If
Hold
it
on,
attacks
Summer,
my brother,
did you read
then I
the
will
rule
shoot it.
book?
yes.
Oh my God. You just said you held your action and I held my breath. I am so impressed.
I'm tired of lagging behind, okay?
I'm very, very pleased. Beth, what would you like to do?
I shoulder past Jerry because he's obviously can't lead anything, and I'll
Right.
make my way down the stairs carefully
Okay.
because obviously Morty needs help.
Right. So you saw exactly how Morty screwed up. And so you're able to not make a roll as you head into the poop tournament. And so you step into this small room. I should probably describe it. It's like a 30 by 30 room full of darkness and strange creatures on the ceiling. Summer has held her action. Everyone of value has already gone. So
Rick.
how about we head right into combat?
Rick,
What?
I believe Kier Bravin has not had a chance to go.
I don't recognize that name. What is the character's name?
Jerry has not
yes.
yet had a chance to go save
said
his son
everyone of
and
value
prove
has
himself to
gone.
his family. But
All right, Jerry. What do you want to do?
I head down the stairs.
Oh my God. Okay, you need to make an athletic. What's your lowest attribute?
Well, this can't be right. It says that it's charisma.
I'd like you
I
to
know.
make an athletics charisma roll.
An
trying to
athletics charisma
im-
roll? How
yes,
do I
you're
do that?
Well, so what you're going to do is you're going to take the attribute
Just roll the
bonus or
dice.
negative, and you add it.
Mm-hmm.
Roll D20. How about that? Roll one of those.
Come on, Dad. We're all waiting.
I rolled an 18.
Yeah. So that
Uno
was
has
terrible.
less numbers. I wanna point this
So
out.
what happens is you the difficulty class was 25. So you step onto the step and you saw where Morty stepped and you're like, well, I'm clearly not going to step there because I'm a smart guy. But in your charismatic need to try and impress these bats who are on the ceiling, you step in a big pile of poop and you slide right off and you crash onto the floor. The Sturges are going to roll for initiative. All right, they got a 17 plus. They got more than you. So the Sturges go first. So here's what's going to happen. These big mosquito-y creatures are going to spin as they soar down, and they make a screeching noise that sounds kind of like that time that do you remember when Jerry got his pinky caught in the car door and he yelped like a small dog?
Yeah.
And I laughed at it's exactly like that. It's exactly like that.
Wait, I
And
thought
so-
this was supposed to be a fantasy role playing
It is,
game.
it
This
is,
is a
because-
typical weekend with Rick so far.
Right. So these these Sturges rotate through the air like almost like little mosquito drills, and they're headed directly down towards Jerry. And the only reason why all of his blood has not been drawn forth from his corpse is because Summer brilliantly held her action. So Summer's child, why don't you roll to attack?
That's a 17 to hit.
Yeah, that is a hit.
Ooh, that is 10 points of slashing damage.
10 points of slashing damage with an arrow?
Yeah. Oh, just kidding. Yeah, actually. No, that's 11
What?
with my
11
longbow.
points of damage with a longbow?
Yeah.
Way to
Oh.
go, Summer.
All right, so you shish kebab two of these sturges right through it, flies through the air, and one of them says, "I have children," and then it dies, and the arrow sticks into the wall and skewers it, and it will never breed again. And the third sturge, if it wasn't already covered in poop, would be covered in poop because it's so scared and impressed with what you've done, freeing up the floor for Beth to take an action.
I'm going to smash that sturge because I too have children.
What are you using to smash it?
My holy warhammer.
So the warhammer is religious, not that it's full of holes.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Swing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
11, so a 15.
15 is a successful strike. So you bring this warhammer up in a beautiful swinging arc, and the flat metallic surface strikes this thing and mashes it to a fine, pulpy, gushing mass. The sturges die, all of them, very quickly, and Morty and Jerry are they're just
covered in poop, right?
covered in poop.
Good
Yeah.
job,
Get off her-
Mom.
But alive
Yeah.
and appreciative.
Girl power.
Yes, clearly. So before you see that this room has two exits. There's one to the north and one to the east. And the one to the north has a carving beside it written in the common tongue that says, "Go this way, you idiot."
Well, that's
think we should
obviously
go
a
that way.
trap.
No,
That's
we should-
obviously a trap.
It's an invitation. They seem nice.
That was written by Grandpa.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not
We should
actually
go
in
the
this
other way.
world. I'm the omnipresent God overseeing all of this adventure. So
Yeah,
there's
I
no
think
possible
Summer might
way
be right. I think
that I
Summer's
could have
right.
carved that.
It does
into
look
the
like your
stone.
handwriting, Dad.
I mean,
Is there a spell I have that helps with corridor decision making?
I mean, that's probably a charisma roll, which, as we both know, is your weakest
On it.
stat. Yeah.
I rolled a 4.
Perfect. You definitely think you should go to the room, the direction that says this is the correct way. You idiot.
All right, let's do it.
All right. So under divine providence, you step forth to the north and walk down a hallway, runs for about 30 feet, and then you come into another room. So this room has got a statue. Let me read this. This room is sort of a trapezoidal shape. That's a real word, with doors to the east, north, and the south. It's also got a statue in the middle of the room. There's like a statue of a brilliant kind of middle-aged man with maybe hair that resembles mine, and he's flexing and looks very pleased himself. And at the bottom, the inscription just says "damn" with like 3 A's. And it's really well crafted and looks like a real good artist made this very lifelike statue. Yeah.
What language is that?
In the common tongue.
Oh,
Which way is he pointing?
He's pointing upward.
I look up.
All right, so you're gonna look up at the ceiling. It looks like there's some sort of a plaque up there, but it's obscured with dust and in the shadows.
Can
I'm
I
not
see it
gonna
with my
get it.
dark vision?
So you look up there and you can see, yep, that's a lot of dust covering that plaque. You could very clearly see the dust, Morty.
Very good. Okay.
Yeah, nice try.
I tried.
What would you like to do? Anyone?
Is there a
I know it's
is there a
difficult asking
spell
you for
I
your
have to
creativity.
blow the
Oh my
dust
God.
off the plaque?
I don't know, what spells do you have memorized there, Jerry?
Is that a
Well,
cantrip?
the character sheet does not actually list any spells. If only I knew something about Dungeons and Dragons, I could just maybe go get my.
Do you know why? Do you know
Player's
why there's no
handbook.
spells on the
Maybe
sheet,
I
Jerry?
can go get it. If only I, Jerry, cartoon character, had a copy of the player's handbook.
Amazing. All right. So, Jerry, the reason why there's no spells on your character sheet is because you didn't tell me you were going to memorize any, so you don't have any.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I thought I just cast that great spell about corridor decision making.
Oh, yeah. I mean, except for that one. The one called
and now it's gone.
Yeah, that spell that you had called Your Wife Wants to Leave You. Yeah, that one.
She already did leave me. That
And
happened
this
in
is-
season 3.
All right.
Jerry, I will. Beth looks up at the dust and mumbles under her breath, and I'll use thaumaturgy to create a small wind and clear off the dust so we can read the plaque.
You also read the book. I'm really impressed, Beth. That's my girl. Okay, so she uses spell there and blows away the dust. And very clearly you see written on the plaque, it says, "Quit wasting time, pick a door and go down it."
Great, a grandpa dungeon.
Yeah, that's how we do.
Is there is there a corridor that leads to
Grumpiest
Uno?
dungeon around.
What? No, this is the game, Jerry. The game
Very
is
well.
dragons, dungeons, treasure, and your own lack of self-esteem. That's the game we're playing.
And Sturge feces.
Yes. Well, I never said the poop was Sturge poop. It might have been poop from all the adventurers who'd previously died in that room.
And we're
Did you think
terrified
about
of
that?
seeing Sturges.
It's important when you build a space that you think of the ecology of the space, Jerry. It's not just
Gagaxian
about
ecology,
random
nonetheless.
encounters. That would be unprofessional.
So, Rick, I can't but help but notice in the spell book, there are these things called cantrips, which are very positive. I would hate to try and cast cantrips.
That's right. It's very
But no,
good.
they're cantrips
Yes.
that I don't need to memorize, that I just know.
There is nothing funnier than a pun. Continue.
So, there's a cantrip here I really like. It's called Friends.
Oh, God.
And can I just
look,
cast Friends and just maybe find some friends? I assume that's what it means.
I
Is that a real
understand.
spell?
There's currently
haven't-
no one in the adventure that would ever be your friend.
But
so
I'm
maybe-
trying to coerce them magically.
Dad, don't gaslight people into being your friend. That's weird.
I mean,
The statue's definitely not
lighting.
going to be your friend. Maybe hold that one in check, but nice try.
all right, I'll keep studying the cantrip list.
Yeah, you keep studying. All right, which direction do you want to go? There's a door to the north and there's a door to the, I can't see my own writing, east, we'll say.
Morty, go north.
Let's go north. Let's do this.
Beth, they're about,
Might as well
they
keep
both
going.
want to go north.
Yeah.
Jerry doesn't know anything. What do you want to do?
Go north, young man.
I think north works.
Excellent. North is what you shall do.
Keeping
So
Keep a
As
forward
you,
line before we start branching out.
head into this next room. You see, looks like two, hold on. I got to check my notes here. Two goblins. Yeah, sure. Okay. So there's two goblins here. There's like a wooden table and a couple stools, and there's a couple goblins hanging out. They look kind of bored, but they'd probably be less bored if they got into a life or death struggle with some adventurers.
I cast Friends on them.
Oh my God. All right. So one of the goblins has got like is using a cane, and that goblin's name is Eye. And then there's another goblin with an eye patch, and that goblin's name is Leg. So what does the friend spell do? Why don't you read that to me, and then I'll ignore it.
Very well. I can do the alphabet. It's in here
Uh-huh.
somewhere. Friends. No, it's a lot of F spells for some reason.
Oh my goodness.
Concentration up to 1 minute. For the duration, you have advantage on all charisma checks. Aha, Rick. I've outsmarted you at last. Directed at one creature of your choice. Oh dear, that isn't hostile towards you. So I guess I cast it on, well, they're both. I cast it on the elderly one. The one who walks with a cane. Old people need the most.
All right. And so what is the saving throw that they get to make?
Uh,
Is it just advantage?
does not say that there's.
How about this, Jerry? How about you get to cast the spell, and for a brief instant, this wonderful goblin eye looks over at you with a less than hostile expectation. Why don't you
Hooray.
make a charisma check here? And what do you say to this particular goblinoid?
So, and I have advantage. That wasn't very good.
What is not very good?
6. And my
Perfect.
second roll was a 9. That's
Yes.
2 better.
Grandpa, I take a picture of the situation with my phone.
Good. So she's going to put that on the grams afterwards, because what she sees is you give this goblin eye a little bit of like a, hey, I want to be friends. And this goblin takes that as a come hither advance. And all he can think is, you didn't take me for dinner. You don't even know me or anything about me. You shallow piece of shit. And combat is on. Rolling.
Sounds like my college dating life.
Jerry's not one to take someone to dinner before.
All right. So initiative. Morty.
Do I roll the dice now, Rick? Is that
Yeah, you rolled the 20.
okay?
I mean, you're not going to roll a 20.
Oh, I did roll a 20, Rick.
Oh my God.
+3 initiative. That's really good.
Yeah, I guess it's acceptable. Summer, what's your initiative?
I rolled a 1. I choose to go last.
That's good. See, that's a defensive reaction. I like it. Very strategic. Beth?
According to my -1 initiative, I have an 11.
Okay. And Jerry?
I rolled a 13, Rick.
13. Okay. So let's go down from the top here. The goblins clearly go first. They are a fleet of foot, even one named I, and they draw forth their weaponry, which consists of forks. So they pull out their forks, and the one named I is particularly offended by Jerry and rolls to attack. What's her AC, Jerry?
12.
Well, they rolled a 12. So you just got hit with a fork. You got forked, if you will. And it's funny because I said it, even though it's a pun. All right. So you're going to take fork damage.
Fork points of damage.
4 points of damage. How forked
Ow.
are you?
How what?
How forked are you?
I have 8. Using the power of basic math, I have 8 hit points left.
Incredible. All right. The second one, realizing that your the yelp that you made was actually quite enjoyable, decides they're gonna stab you too. So they roll and they hit you, sure. And they also hit you for fork damage.
I feel like this is a very violent game.
It
I'm
is.
not sure
It
it's
can be.
appropriate for
This
children.
is a world of life and death and survival. Not your survival, but other people's. All right, moving right along. Morty, what are you gonna do?
I've got my 2 daggers, and
Uh-huh.
I'm ready to throw them. One at
You're
each.
You're gonna throw your weapons.
Yes, one at each, right at their heads.
Generally, you're not allowed to split your attack that way, but I appreciate your moxie. So why don't you roll the d20 twice and tell me what you get?
A 10
Uh-huh.
and an 18.
A 10 and an 18. So you got a 28. That's impressive. That's impressive, Morty. I like it. And so with your
Yes.
28, you throw these two, you actually crisscross and throw them in opposite directions. And they kind of swivel around and rotate. And both of them hit leg right in the eye. And so what happens is they've got the eye patch, and then you hit them in the other eye with the 2 daggers. Why don't you roll the damage? That's the little.
I feel kind of bad about that.
Yeah, you should. These were intelligent beings who had their entire lives to live.
Jeez.
Why don't you roll the little caltrop one, the D4? Roll that. Roll that. Okay, keep rolling until I tell you to stop.
3.
Keep rolling.
I have piercing damage plus
Yeah,
3.
keep
So 3
rolling,
plus
Morty.
3
Yeah.
plus 1 plus
yeah.
3.
The
is
amount of
4.
blood that's squirting out of their head is horrifying.
Oh
It's
God, this
terrifying.
is terrible.
It's like a
Rick.
gusher. Yeah, it's like I put a little pump on the back of them and I'm just pushing it like a bicycle pump over and over again. Keep going. Keep going,
stop.
Morty.
Oh God, Rick.
Damn it, Morty. Keep rolling.
5. It's plus 6.
No, this was going to be like
Let them die, Rick. Let them die.
All right, you can stop now. So
Are they dead?
so Leg screams and you feel the pain of ages roar through you. This poor goblin, all it wanted was friendship, real friendship, not magically generated friendship from some artificial arcane source. And but all it got was a swift sharpened blade, 2 of them, right sticking in its eye. It goes flying backwards, squirts out the last of its existence, and then crashes to the floor with a sound vaguely like oatmeal on marble.
That's a terrible sound.
It is. It's beautiful, and that's the world Dungeons and Dragons. All right, moving right along.
I feel bad about that.
Don't feel bad about anything. It's not real. These things aren't happening. Okay, moving right along. Beth, what would you like to do?
I see Jerry is also about to bleed out the last of his existence, and
Mayhaps.
I don't want to raise these kids by myself, even in a fantasy world. So I will cast Cure Wounds on Jerry.
Okay, first things first. Morty and Summer are not your children in this world because that would be weird. But I get it. So roll. What I'm saying is, when Jerry dies, you don't have to feel bad.
Oh, well, that's good to know. I already made my decision, but
There is
next
no
time,
guilt statistic in Dungeons and Dragons.
you're on your own. I rolled a 6, so I believe that is a 7 total.
All right.
Hit
So
points back.
what you didn't realize was when Jerry took a header into that poop, it's cursed poop. And so the act of you casting healing on him actually that germinated the curse on the poop, like it got it going. And so now what's happening is, instead of healing, he's just got these really itchy boils that are running up his arms and up his neck, across his chin, and all the way down his tongue.
That's terrible.
This game seems
Yes.
rigged against me.
I've
come to this.
Does he get his hit
conclusion.
points back though?
Oh, no. He feels
Oh,
worse
okay.
than ever. He now has a constant. What's your constitution score?
It's a +2 if I'm reading this right.
Yeah, well, now it's a -2. So, all right, moving right along here. Summer, it's your action. Morty is a murderous little killing machine. Beth is trying to kill Jerry, clearly believes he's been possessed by some evil spirit and needs to die. What would you like to do?
There's one more guy left.
Yes, there is
I take the blood from the ground that's pooling beneath us and I wipe it on my face and I go,
All right,
yeah. And
Yeah,
I
very-
shoot that one with my longbow.
Okay.
That's super
Yeah.
intense.
What'd
that is-
you roll?
18 on the die with a +7.
So
And
math, what is that?
That's
I
a
know
lot.
it is. That is a lot. Good. That is
That's a
correct
lot.
answer. Good, Summer.
And I rolled a 4 + 3. That's 7.
Yes, great. So you hit him for 7 damage. And what's amazing is this arrow strikes right through the center of his chest and it pierces out the other side like in slow motion. And as he's pitching backwards in slow motion, one of the leg, like the cane, swings up and hits Jerry right under his chin. It just knocks him right off his feet. So he hits the ground. And as he hits the ground, it scrapes those boils just really, really hard. Make a constitution check, Jerry.
I don't really know why I have to go through this charade of rolling for things that are predetermined anyway, but I'll play your game, Rick.
That is
It's
correct.
The bond
You are
time
playing
with
my
my
game.
family.
Yes, we're all having a great time.
I rolled a 4.
Yes, you did. And so what happens is 4 of those boils burst and it acts sort of
Gross.
like a lubricant and sends you skidding off into the next room.
Well, at least we're
Whoa.
getting somewhere.
Right? Progress.
Forward momentum.
What would the rest of you like to do? There are 2 dead goblins and a sliding Jerry going to the north.
Do I make an
You
sound
do.
as
You make a
as I-
cartoonish squiggly noise as you slide your way to the next encounter.
I'd like to wipe any poop off me if I could, just so that doesn't happen to me too. Can I
Great.
do that?
Yeah, so you take your cloak like a little squeegee there, and you just sort of wipe yourself down, and
Okay.
then you can discard the poop-ridden cloak on top of the dead goblins. Summer, what would you like to do?
I want to loot the bodies.
Oh yeah, see, she really has read the book. All right, so on these bodies, they've each got a fork. They have 12 silver, and one of them has a small folded piece of parchment.
I open it and read it.
The parchment says, "Cannot wait to see you again, my love, my love." All right, Beth, what would you like to do?
Is Jerry still sliding?
He's mid slide. Time is a little shaky in the world of D&D. Things can happen.
I'm not
slower
going to
and
get
faster.
up again.
I'll walk quickly because I am fleet of foot,
Oh.
and I will nudge him a little as he goes.
You
so
just sort
maybe
of
he'll set
kick
off.
him along
He'll set off
like-
any traps.
Brilliant. So you squeegee kick
My
him
head.
into the next room. Perfect. And as he slides into the room, I don't want to deal with a split up party, so everyone else follows. So we're in the next room here, and what you see is hold on. Rectangular room conveniently conforms to a grid for easy map making. On the north wall is a big orange mouth about 8 feet high. Yeah, it's really gross and weird. There's nothing else in this room, and you're not going to look anywhere else because there's a giant wall with a mouth. So there's a mouth there. It's just a big, disgusting mouth, and it's got kind of drooly bits.
The mouth is like alive.
And what's crazy is Jerry slides right up to the edge of it and bumps his head into its tongue.
Oh,
Is it like arousing, this wet mouth? Is it hot? Is like
Morty,
lips?
we can't.
Is
I
it?
don't want to talk about what you imagine deep into the night, but yes, it is extremely
Okay.
arousing.
That's good. I just need to know.
All right, Jerry.
Oh,
Remember we saw the Rolling Stones, Beth? Back in the 80s. Still have a t-shirt somewhere.
What? No,
Use the
no,
Steel
this isn't
Wheels
like the Rolling
tour.
Stones logo.
I
have more
assume it's like the
creativity
Rolling
than
Stones.
that.
What are you
No,
talking
it's
about?
not.
It's a giant
No.
mouth with the
No,
tongue.
it's not.
the Rolling
No.
Stones logo.
Summer, what
The
do you
Rolling
want to
Stones
do?
logo.
Jerry just lost his action.
Morty, what are you doing with that thing?
don't look at me, because it's not. I just.
Oh,
Have you all
Morty.
okay?
Gross.
Summer.
This is a fantasy game. I can do whatever I want.
This room grosses me out, and I just sit on my phone.
Okay, so you sit on the ground. Jerry, what would you like to do? I guess I'll hear your action.
I lie on the ground on my boils.
You're going to lie on your boils?
I'm
Okay,
lying on my boils.
Morty.
Festering boils.
I'm just gonna kind of walk up and like gaze at it into its mouth,
Into its maw.
into its maw. Can I
All
see
right.
anything inside?
It's dark, very dark in the maw.
How does it smell?
Why don't you ask it?
How do you smell?
As soon as you open your mouth to speak, the mouth interrupts you and says, "Surprise! Answer my riddle. You have to do it. SMHDWM. What's next? Solve this riddle and something cool happens. If you fail, it's going to be bad.
Could you say that again about slower lips?
SMHDWM.
Grandpa, how come Google doesn't work in here?
Unfortunately, there's no Wi-Fi in the Forgotten Realms.
Yeah. So the answer is why.
The answer is why? Why do you think the answer is why, Morty?
Well, it says second, minute, hour, day, week, month, year. Rick, it just makes sense. It's
Morty?
a logical progression of those.
He is learning something when he's in your lab.
Well, I thank you all for playing, and I appreciate your intelligence throughout this encounter. The most important thing for you to remember is that I am in charge of the dungeon and all of you will die. So yeah. We'll just pretend that Morty never said that because I got
it right.
I cannot confirm or deny anything. However, the next thing you notice is a gas pours out of the ceiling, and it's like purple and sparkling, and maybe you go unconscious and wake up naked. All right, so thank you all for playing. I hope you enjoyed a little bit of Rick and Morty Dungeons and Dragons. All of you, of course, were successful in your endeavor and were able to gather great treasure and experience points, particularly Jerry, I think.
Did we level up?
Yes, in my heart.
Excellent.
You always level up.
Why do I always end up naked in your game?
It's
Always ends up naked.
If any of you run Dungeons and Dragons versus Rick and Morty, always remember, just Rick is going to torture Jerry and Morty. Like that is the way the game must be played. Anything else, and it just ain't right. I got to tell you.
Yeah,
that's kind of how it goes.
Makes sense.
Fred, you are very patient. You're a very patient man. Anyone who plays Jerry in this game, I always feel particularly bad about, but it works in its own fashion. So
It's a good type.
That was super fun.
to
Thank
play,
you,
yeah.
Jim.
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Thanks, Jim. Yeah, that was great.
What's so weird about the game, I think, is that idea of playing the characters. So you're not just playing D&D, you're playing Beth playing D&D, or you're playing Jerry playing D&D. And I think the more you're able to do that, the more insane it gets as a process. But yeah, 2 layers of role playing.
Yeah.
I love it. It's so much fun. So thank you guys for hanging out with us. Thank you guys for hanging out with us today. Thank you, panelists, for being here. Don't forget, August 4th, Rick and Morty versus Dungeons and Dragons Deluxe Edition. Is it over 300 pages?
It
This
is
Over 300
massive.
pages.
And how we've
That's
created that
spice and
much.
meatball.
It's a lot of art and writing.
There's a lot of art. There's also
Congratulations.
30 pages of brand new story
That's
have
right.
never been seen before.
Yeah, there's a brand new
From
story that we
Jim
put
and Troy.
together. Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's called the Meeseeks Adventure.
And
the
of course,
concept is very simple. It's basically, what if one of those Meeseeks boxes showed up in the Forgotten Realms, and how would it go? Yes, there's
like
the cover
that.
there. It's so good. And actually, behind Fred, there's a what I lovingly call Meeseeks Helm's Deep. It's like this
Love it.
insane war that takes place in the issue. Then behind Satine, there's an army of Meeseeks attacking an adult blue dragon, and behind we've got amazing freaking cover art for the deluxe edition, which is awesome.
That's so awesome.
Everyone's
Yay.
rocking it.
The word of the day is awesome. So thank you guys. August 4th, game stores, comic stores, Amazon. Go to onipress.com, ONIPRESS. They are remarkable, and go check out all of their things. So my dear guests, please tell everyone your names, where they can find you on the internet.
Fred, I abused you. Why don't you go first?
If you can spell my name, Fred Van Lente, that's me on Twitter, Facebook, fredvanlente.com. It's my Gmail address. Very simple.
All right. Moving right along. Who wants to go next?
Troy Little. All right, Troy Little. You can find me Instagram, Twitter, Troy Little. And Pegamoose Press is my website, www.pegamoosepress.com.
Awesome. Robert?
You can find most of my work at onipress.com. I am reluctantly on Twitter at Robert_Meyers. And that's about it. Yeah, for me. But for the important thing is of course the beautiful product behind us.
Sweet. I'm Jim Zub. You can find me at jimzub.com, where I've got all kinds of previews of stuff that I'm working on, and also tutorials on how to write comics, how to pitch your stories, how to break in and do this crazy stuff. And last but certainly absolutely not least, our amazing host,
Thanks. I'm Satine Phoenix at Satine Phoenix everywhere. And also I'm your dungeon master at satinephoenix.com. I am a professional dungeon master. So if you like what you see here, go check it out. Go check out Oni Press, read Rick and Morty versus Dungeons and Dragons. I'm also the co-creative director of Sirens, Battle of the Bards at thebardbook.com. So thank you guys for joining us for San Diego Comic-Con 2021. Thank you guys.
Thank you.